So this is another garden walkthrough. It's May 3rd, 2016, and I thought I'd do a little walkthrough of the front yard and the backyard just to kind of show you where things are coming along. It's been a pretty warm season this year. We've had several days that have been actually record-breaking, some as high as actually 90 degrees, which is very unusual for this time of year. So it's been kind of an unusual spring, although the weather's not been consistently warm. So that's the only thing that's kind of been a little weird about the weather this year. But again, it's been a great spring. It's kind of dried up quite a bit, so it's been nice. So a good season so far. Did have a fair amount of rain this year, so the yard is kind of, some of the plants are acting a little weird due to the amount of water that they got, but so far so good. So here's a little walk through the front. The rhodies in the front yard here. These are doing very well. They're enjoying this kind of mixture of both sunshine and shade. The spring bouquets are turning out pretty nicely. This one here looks like it's got a little bit of stress damage. The one next to it though is doing fine, so who knows what's going on there. Over here, the maple tree that we transplanted from 33rd is looking great, along with the other spring bouquets. We did lose one of the vine maples that was planted right here. Actually, I'm kind of not missing it, but I think we need to fill in some other type of material. The birches, the paperback birches, are looking great. We did lose one of the little tiny towers, cypresses. That one on the far left-hand side did die. The other two are doing fine. We got stressed with the amount of not getting water. Again, these birches are looking good. The roses have filled in pretty nicely. They have yet to bloom, so there'll be probably another maybe 2 or 3 weeks out. We did lose one of the azaleas that was here, and these other ones are they're filling in and looking great. The David Eye is actually looking good this year. It's all kind of starting to grow, and this area is looking well. Fountain's doing great. It lasted all winter. And we planted some new plants kind of back over here to kind of fill in this area. Should make it look nice. Back in this area, this rhododendron is looking great. It's just now starting to bloom, and it looks like it's about the same color as the one on the opposite side. So they're actually kind of complementary. It's probably about 12 feet tall this year. This pink one just got done blooming a little bit ago. It's always looked a little bit sparse, but it looks like it's trying to kind of snap out of it. These next 3 azaleas are doing so far so good. One has bloomed, the other 2 have yet to actually pop out. Further up the driveway, this pink azalea is rhodea is just kind of blended in here with the vegetation. It grows a little sparse, but it does continue to bloom every year and looks nice. We took all this shrubbery. There was some kind of a tree thing that was growing here. It was just kind of ratty looking, so we actually just kind of pulled it out. And then back to this side. These rhodies are all looking great. They're showing well. I like the way that they turned out. It's kind of a mass of pink along here. This rhodie looks good. And this little azalea seems to be doing pretty well as well. This rhodie in the back is not yet bloomed. It's got a little ways to go. These are really a pretty color. It's kind of like a mixture of both pink and yellow. Last year I planted these hostas, and they're filling in pretty nicely. This year, the roses seem to be blooming a little bit slower than they did last year. So they haven't all come out at once like they did last year. It was like one gigantic set of blooms at the same time. This year, they're kind of some are blooming full and some are still kind of coming along. So it seems like they're kind of taking their time, but I'll show you what I mean. As you can see, some have come out and some have not come out. There's still some that are, I mean, they're absolutely, roses are always beautiful. But this red is really happy. This orange is happy. What's interesting is this snapdragon, which has been here now for a couple of years, keeps coming back up. It comes partially from seed and partially from root, I'm not sure. But back to the roses here, as you can see, not quite yet in full blossom. They're in full blossom, they're just not in full bloom. The sedum beds that I planted last year have definitely filled in and look pretty nice. Planted a couple of dahlias in the back of here. This particular bed, and some of them did not decide to come back this year. Got out of 5, 3 came back, which is probably going to be enough. These red plants are turning out to be kind of a little iffy, not turning out wonderful, but you know, we'll see how they turn out in the long run. The plantings around the master bedroom actually look very nice this year, starting to show a lot of robustness. So I got a correction. Actually, it looks like this one is going to come back. This is that yellow one. Yeah, so it looks like we just lost one of the 5. So for my earlier video, I recorded how we put in new walkways around the garden paths, and that definitely helped out a lot. Made it a lot easier to plant stuff, a lot easier to manage so far. We do have different types of weeds that have decided that they wanted to grow kind of intensely, so that's not been much fun, but you know, we'll figure out a way to manage it. I'm trying to do it partially with chemicals and partially with pulling, which you have to pull a lot of weeds around this place. It's kind of crazy at times, but hey, it's all turning out. It's all kind of fun. Peas have all started to sprout, are doing well. I just planted sunflower seeds and sunflowers through here, so that should be kind of fun, along with pumpkins. The dahlias and glads are all coming up that I showed in the earlier video. Still got, again, weeds. Well, these lilies have just been going crazy. The ones down here, in front of us right here, are probably about 3 foot tall. The ones down in the lower garden are probably around 4 or 5 foot tall. Almost time for the peonies to bloom. Oh, weed patch there. Jeez. Peas are coming along. And walking down to the lower portion of the orchard is, I did transplant these irises. Some of these were from the front yard, and some of these were volunteers who were in the garden. The ones to the left here were from the front yard. The ones to the right here were from the kind of volunteers. This is that one Asian pear that I had to replace. It has one whopping piece of fruit on it. The other one has more on it. This is the one that got a pretty bad infestation last year of the apple maggots. So I've been treating it so far, so we'll see how it turns out. Here's this tree again has decided to produce absolutely nothing other than dropping leaves and making a big mess. So I really think that over the next year or two, I'm probably going to start to remove it. This cherry tree, I've decided to try to kind of get it to spread its wings a little bit. It was growing like straight up. And so I actually staked it kind of down so that these branches are trying to kind of hold them out a little bit. I'm hoping that this will get it a little bit better form once I drop it. This plum tree actually did produce or is producing plums this year, so that's kind of exciting, and I'm curious to see how they turn out. Of these two pears, so far the verdict is kind of out on them. They continue to grow and had quite a bit of height themselves, but they're not. I think this is the Bartlett, and this one has produced some fruit this year. Again, kind of the verdict is out as far as how it's going to do. I'm getting some kind of weird, kind of a leaf curl. I'm not sure what this is, but I have been treating it, and it seems like it's kind of gotten a little bit minimized, but a little better, but still kind of being a little weird. This is that second grouping of hydrangeas that I planted last year. What's weird about the hydrangea and this plum tree that's right next to it is that I got a little kind of a retardation. As you can see, here's some fairly, nice robust leaves, and then down here is kind of it's almost like it's got a little bit of a curl to its leaf. It's acting weird. Now, what's interesting is as you look right next door to it, here's this plum tree, and this middle stalk has decided to almost all but die. So, these limbs are okay, but this top, like 4 or 5 branches here, these are completely acting like they're dead. All the leaves that dropped off of them, or they never actually materialize. It's just like it's got frozen. So I'm not sure what the heck is going on here. This is where the poison ivy was. So I don't know if there's some residual chemicals from poison ivy when I nuked it that is kind of bugging this area or what, which is kind of weird. So verdict's out on this plum tree. This one may not survive. Kind of hard to say. So that's it for this week's garden walk. I'm kind of hoping that I can get these weeds under control. It seems like just one weed gets left and a billion weeds comes back. So that's kind of a pisser, but we'll see what I can do. So anyways, checking out again, May 3rd, 2016, garden walk at Maple Avenue.